Hi, I'm Martha Apple, and I'm here along with my co-authors, James Gallagher and Curtis Winscott, to tell you about the distribution of dwarf shrubs and drought-resistant cam plants that varies with soil, temperature, and position on periglacial pattern ground at the Goat Flat Alpine Tundra here in Montana. So we asked the questions, do soil temperatures and plant functional traits vary with position on periglacial pattern ground? And to ask these questions, we went to the field and put an array of hobo onset temperature sensors at the edges and centers of the polygons of the pattern ground and put them 5 to 10 centimeters beneath the soil surface and recorded temperatures hourly from 2018 to 21. And plant species and functional traits, we surveyed their distribution in quadrats, recorded percent cover, and calculated relative percent cover, or RPC, which is the percent cover of a species or trait divided by the total percent cover in a quadrat. And we found that at the edges of the polygons, we had a high total percent cover of plants, higher relative percent covers of the dwarf shrubs, Dryas octopetala, which is the mountain avens, and Salix arctica, which is the Arctic willow, and of seedlings of Picea engelmannii, the Engelmann spruce. And then at the centers of the polygons, the total percent cover was low, but even so, we had higher RPCs for drought-tolerant cam plants, and cam stands for crassulation acid metabolism. And the two species we found there that are cam plants are Sedum lanceolatum and Sedum roseum. And then clonal mechanisms differed between the centers and the edges of the polygons. We saw a higher RPC for stolon production. Stolons are above ground horizontal stems, such as you would find in a strawberry. We didn't find strawberries up there. And vivipary, which is where plants, in the place of seeds, they will produce little things called bulbils, which can fall down and germinate into new plants. And the species we saw that did this is Polygonum viviparum. Okay, next we have polygon centers. Here's a picture of one of the cam plants, Sedum lanceolatum, which has higher relative percent cover. And then on the polygon edges, we saw higher relative percent cover for Dryas octopetala, which is an evergreen dwarf shrub in the rose family. It also fixes nitrogen, so it's probably fairly important in nitrogen dynamics in the alpine tundra. This same kind of pattern of temperature variation in the winter when you've got a snowpack cover. And then here's the snowfield. This snowfield, until recently, lasted throughout the year, but this year it was gone by approximately July 23rd, which is the earliest I've ever seen it melt. And this was a hot, dry summer in Montana. And then we took FLIR thermographs of polygon surface temperatures. And again, the centers had higher maxima and higher average temperatures than the edges. The edges were cooler. And then in a related project, we have the HAST project, and it stands for High Altitude Sensor Technology. And the idea is to record data with sensors and relay it to little rocket scream computers and then transfer it from these boxes to other nodes in a system and then send the data to essentially a computer near you. And it's starting to work pretty well. And this is important because we can get sensor data sent during the parts of the year where we can't get up to the site because it's snowed in. And this could be used in other sites that are also snowed in or otherwise in rugged, relatively inaccessible terrain. And the people in the HAST group are James Gallagher, Kevin Nagus, Justin Rubalcaba, Jesse Earle, Jameson Ellers, and I. And we also had Megan and Liz go along as field assistants. Those are the two dogs. And in summary, plant functional traits, soil and surface temperatures differed between polygon edges and centers. Polygon edges had cooler, less variable soil temperatures and higher RPCs for dwarf shrubs and spruce seedlings. Polygon centers had warmer, more variable soil temperatures and higher RPCs for cams, stoloniferous, and viviparous plants, which have increased tolerance for drought and short growing seasons. And plant functional traits are important in predicting which plants can survive in the rapidly changing alpine tundra. And lastly,